This is Valley News Live at 10.
I feel that these deaths are firmly on the head of the Minnesota DOT for not having adequate signage.
That is how one driver in the Fargo-Moorhead area feels after the fatal crash yesterday. Many drivers have commented on our Facebook page or had reached out to us about their concerns over how the Minnesota Department of Transportation planned out their signage for the construction zones on I-94, especially in the areas where it becomes a bottleneck. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling brings us the story.
Many drivers are concerned with the road construction on I-94 heading into Moorhead due to how it becomes a bottleneck.
This was a whole line of cars that just slammed to an instant stop while going 55.
Especially after the recent deaths of 3 people from Friday's crash.
Just better planning for the merges so that we don't see these accidents like that. If like I said, starting that merging over into one lane way further out could prevent something like this.
Some drivers have pointed out to me and social media that the right and left lanes merge into the middle lane by the 1A exit. This has made drivers worried about how they might end up in an accident. There is signage on the interstate, but some drivers don't think it's enough to warn people about the upcoming construction zones, even saying the Minnesota Department of Transportation should take a page out of North Dakota's playbook.
They have a very clear sign up there with a speed reduction, very clear sign with the lighted arrows pointing which direction the lane closure is in. And I feel if that would have been up in Minnesota, these people would be alive today.
At the end of the day, drivers also need to slow down and practice safety on the roadways, especially in the construction zones.
Somebody had to swerve into the right lane and almost took out somebody on that side. I mean, I've seen a lot of near misses just this last week.
In Moorhead, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
And we have reached out to the Minnesota Department of Transportation, but have not heard back yet. Well, taking a look outside at the Skycam right now, Hutch, it's looking pretty nice out there. What are we seeing right now?
Well, we are quiet for a change, and we had a lot of thunderstorms here in the Southern Valley and Lakes Country, and it started out first thing in the morning. Check out these ominous looking clouds. Now, this morning's round of rain and thunderstorms sure had pesky looking clouds, ominous looking clouds, but no severe storms this morning. Dave, thanks for this Warren, Minnesota shelf cloud. What a nasty looking storm that was, and this nastiness continued into the early afternoon near Ulen. Thanks, Gwen, for sharing this. You have a funnel cloud up here making contact with the ground. That is a tornado. It's 4 miles north of Ulen. It was very brief and really just hit in a field. And we did have some severe weather in the form of very gusty winds that made their way through the Rothsay area. But the main problem tonight was the heavy rain. Check it out. Showers exiting south, really diminishing up near Lake of the Woods. Morning round of storms up here delivered some areas where you see the greens and yellows over an inch of rain. But a lot of areas saw 2 to 5 inches. Lisbon. Flooding problems there. We'll see more on this, but in the Hawley area, 2 to 5 inches estimated there, and diagonaling through Otter Tail County, we still have a flood advisory for that area as heavy rain inundated that area. That's in effect until 11 o'clock. So remnant showers out there, otherwise quiet. And here's another view of that tornado that happened today. Thanks, Riley, for being on the ball and uploading your video and letting us know what was going on. We'll have details on the heat in your forecast. Today, the warmest weather was out to the west. All of us experienced that tomorrow. And an update on a first alert weather day. Now, I declared for Monday. We'll have details on that.
Yeah, a lot to go over and a lot to make sure that you're hydrated and staying cool these next couple of days. Hutch, thank you so much. Well, a 43-year-old man from Grand Forks has suffered serious injuries after crashing his motorcycle over in Walsh County. Now, officials say that Corey Anderson was riding his motorcycle with a group and lost control of his bike and tipped and rolled over. Anderson was taken to All True Hospital with serious injuries. This crash is still currently under investigation. And hundreds of people gathered in Minneapolis today for a rally following an officer-involved shooting that killed a man earlier this week. Andrew Tekle Sudberg was killed early Thursday morning after a 6-hour standoff with police. Officers were called to the apartment building after reports of shots being fired, forcing residents, including a mother and her 2 children, to run away. Now, one of the attorneys representing the family says that they feel terribly for those involved, but the standoff did not need to result in a death. Well, if you didn't play the Mega Millions jackpot, there's a lot of good news because it's still going to keep on growing. Because there was no winner in Friday night's Mega Millions drawing with $480 million. The next drawing is set for Tuesday and is expected to be worth about $530 million. That's a big chunk of change. And the biggest winner was in October of 2018 when one ticket sold in South Carolina for over $1.5 billion. I don't even know what I would be able to do with that much money. Also to come on the Valley Today, more news, and also, Hutch, what are we looking at?
Well, we did have a nice time lapse of some distant thunderstorms in the late part of the day that were down near the South Dakota border, Oaks, Ellendale area. Those, well, they dissipated. Now quiet and very hot. Your forecast is next.